You know, on the surface, this is just a list. It's a biblical census of Jacob's family heading down to Egypt. But if you look closer, hidden inside these names and numbers is a story of deep fear, a really clever mathematical riddle, and some pretty profound secrets about the birth of a nation. So today, we're going to unpack all the drama behind the journey that really started it all.
So it all kicks off with this incredibly raw, just explosive moment of emotion. I mean, for over 20 years, Jacob has believed his absolute favorite son, Joseph, was dead. And then suddenly, boom, he learns Joseph is not only alive, but he's basically the prime minister of Egypt. And his response is just pure joy, pure relief. You'd think he'd just pack his bags and race to see him, right? Well, that's not quite what happened.
The journey does begin, but it's not this direct path that's just fueled by excitement. In fact, Jacob makes a really strange stop, a detour that kind of signals there's this deep, unspoken conflict brewing right under the surface of this supposedly happy reunion.
Check out his route here. He doesn't just make a beeline for Egypt. He goes to Beer-sheba, a place that's super significant to his family history, and he stops. He offers sacrifices. Now, that's not what a man in a hurry does. That's the action of a man who is deeply, deeply troubled by something.
So this is the big question, isn't it? He has waited a lifetime for this very moment, so why the pause? What on earth could be holding him back? The text itself, it doesn't really tell us. But this is exactly where the genius of ancient commentary comes in and just unlocks the whole human drama. And this is where the great commentator Rashi, he just blows the whole thing open. He explains that these weren't just some routine sacrifices. Jacob was terrified. He was being forced to leave the promised land, the land God had promised to his grandfather Abraham and his father Isaac. To Jacob, this move must have felt like a spiritual exile, a potential break in that divine covenant.
And for anyone who isn't familiar, Rashi is one of the most essential guides to really understanding the Bible. His commentary isn't just about translating words. He fills in the emotional gaps, he decodes the hidden motivations of the characters, and he turns what looks like a simple line of text into this profound psychological moment. And look at this. You can see how God speaks directly to Jacob's very specific fear. He says, "Fear not to go down to Egypt." God is basically validating Jacob's anxiety, but then he completely reframes the journey. This isn't an exile, it's a necessary step. He promises to go with him, and most importantly, to bring his descendants back. This family road trip has just been elevated to the level of national destiny.
Okay, so with God's reassurance, Jacob is finally ready to go. And now the text does something very deliberate. It actually pauses the whole narrative to give us this detailed list, an official accounting of every single person making this monumental journey.
So here's the breakdown. The family is organized by Jacob's 4 wives, Leah and Rachel, and their handmaids, Zilpah and Bilhah. The text meticulously lists all the sons and grandsons from each matriarch. I mean, this is basically the founding document of the 12 tribes of Israel. But you're going to want to pay very close attention to the numbers here, because a little puzzle is about to emerge.
All right, the text gives us our first hard number. It totals up everyone who physically traveled with Jacob from Canaan, not counting his sons' wives, and it comes to 66 people. That's a clear, specific number. Got it.
And then, just a few verses later, it gives us the final iconic number. The total number of souls from the house of Jacob who came to Egypt was 70. Now wait a minute, 66 travelers, but a total of 70? Yeah, something doesn't quite add up, does it? And that little discrepancy, it kicks off this fantastic piece of biblical detective work. The number 70 is hugely symbolic, but how in the world do we get there from 66? It's a mystery that's literally baked right into the text. So here's the problem, plain and simple. We're 4 people short. Where are they? It's almost like the text is challenging us to find them. And once again, it's Rashi who provides the key to cracking the case. Okay, here's how Rashi walks us through it. First, you've got the 66 who traveled from Canaan. Simple. Then we add the family members who were already living in Egypt. That's Joseph himself plus his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. So 66 plus 3, that gets us to 69. We are so close. But we're still missing 1 soul. Where is the 70th person?
So the final clue, and you're going to love this, was hidden in plain sight the whole time. Rashi points our attention right back to that census list. Remember the total for Leah's family was 33? Well, if you actually go back and count the individual names listed, there are only 32. The text has a deliberate numerical error, a clue that points directly to our final missing person.
And here it is, Rashi's incredibly elegant solution. He identifies the missing person as Jochebed, the daughter of Levi. So why isn't she on the list of travelers? Because she wasn't born yet when they left Canaan. Rashi explains she was conceived in Canaan but was born at the exact moment the family crossed the border into Egypt, literally between the walls. So she's both a traveler and a native, completing the count to a perfect 70 at the precise moment of arrival. It's brilliant.
But this census holds way more than just a math problem. Rashi shows us that hidden within these simple genealogies are some deeply personal and dramatic family secrets if you just know where to look. I mean, take this entry for Simeon's family. It lists Saul, son of the Canaanite woman. Rashi reveals this isn't just some random note. This is the son of Dinah, Jacob's only daughter, from her traumatic assault back in the city of Shechem. Her brother Simeon swore an oath to raise her child as his own to remove her shame. A huge family tragedy and an incredible act of brotherly love, all hidden in that one simple line.
And here's another one. In the entire list, only Rachel is explicitly called Jacob's wife. Why? Rashi explains this is no accident. Even though she had died years before, she was still considered the Ye'ikar, the foundational pillar, the primary wife, the true matron of the household around whom the entire family was built. Her special status is immortalized right here in the census.
And this all builds to a final, truly profound point. Rashi contrasts the census of Jacob's family with that of his estranged twin brother Esau. Now, when Esau's much smaller family is described, the Bible uses the plural word for souls, nefshot. But for Jacob's massive family of 70, it uses the singular, nephesh, soul, not souls.
Rashi explains that this grammatical choice is deeply theological. Esau's family was fractured. They worshipped many different gods. Each person was their own individual soul, just kind of going their own way. But Jacob's family, all 70 of them, they worshipped the one God of their fathers. And so, despite all their internal dramas and different personalities, they were bound together by a unified purpose, forming a single, collective, national soul.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. This isn't just an ancient story about a family census. It's a foundational statement about identity. And it poses a question that just echoes through history. What does it really take for a diverse group of people, a nation that would grow into the millions, to see themselves not just as a collection of individuals, but as a single unified soul?